Hello, it's Christina with the Turn Leg. It is Mother's Day weekend, and I'm going to head to a flea market. Now, I'm taping this the night before, the afternoon before we leave, because we are leaving for the Armada Flea Market at 5:30 in the morning. I'm also taking my daughter and April's Nana with us, but it's going to be very, very dark, so I wasn't sure I'd be able to even get video ahead of time. I'm really excited. I went a couple years ago and I did make a whole video, so you can check that out here so you can kind of compare what I find. Mother's Day weekend, I'm not sure if it's going to be like really good with a ton of things or if everyone's going to be celebrating with mom and there'll be nobody. But I hear that people get set up between 5 and 6 a.m. So we're leaving near Metro Detroit. We're leaving at 5:30. We should get there around 6:30. You want to come along? I thought it'd be a good idea to pack the car the night before. I have a little cart that I use that I actually found curbside rescue, and it worked out great for the flea market. I also have a whole bunch of extra bags, hat, sunscreen, water, and sold tags. So if I buy something and have to come back later because it's large, I can put my name on it. For those of you that go to flea markets often, was I leaving out anything essential you take? If so, comment down below. We left about 5:30 in the morning and got to drive through Metro Detroit. It was pretty nice because it was overcast, so we weren't driving into the sunrise, and we arrived at the perfect time. The dealers were just getting set up and the good stuff was still there. Now, I did have one rule about the flea market. You know, they have lots of cool animals and livestock, and the rule was nothing living besides us comes back home. Otherwise, they're going to have to find alternative transportation because my daughter is always begging for a new pet. Stay tuned to the end to see if we kept that promise. As with any large sale, and especially flea markets, I'm always filled with excitement and never seem to know which direction to go. I just decided to start going down some of the many aisles here and see what I could find. There's also something that happens, like until you get the first item in the cart, you're just filled with tons of doubts. Like, is it the right thing? Is it a good price? Will I have money later? But there was a lot of good stuff, including tons of blow molds, which are really hot near me, but the prices here were still pretty high. The whole point of this visit was to get cool items for my booth at Plaza Antiques and Collectibles Mall in Lincoln Park. This elk was very cool at $200 and would definitely be a statement piece, but he wasn't coming home with me. There were a lot of antlers too. This set was $18. Flea markets, you can find pretty much the price you want if you keep looking. Do you see this display case? Serious regrets. It was only $10. That was something I should have bought. I went back to look for it later and could not find it, could not remember where it was. If you want to see all of the items that I did bring home with me, stay tuned to the end of the video. The whole point of a flea market is finding treasures, but I never expected to really be selling them. First two items I put into my cart were birdhouses. This is one. And there's the other one you can barely see. Luckily, I snapped a picture because I was able to double my money on those birdhouses instantly because somebody else wanted them. So even though I had in my mind a great display with them, it's always a good idea to make money quick so you have more to spend. Buying a pair of snowshoes has always been on my bucket list. Anyone else have a junking bucket list? But these were $60, and at my antique mall, I believe there's a pair for $45 to $50. We were so early, people were still setting up, but this was a good thing because that meant that we could get the good stuff. One thing you're going to notice as you watch this video is how many more people arrive and how busy it does get. if you are going to the Armada Flea Market, I have been told that like by 11, 12 o'clock, it is over, gone, done. You might not even know that there was a flea market. This gentleman made all of these lamps, and they were quite a work of art. I really wanted to pick one up. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put one for my house, but if I go back next time and he has lamps for sale, I'm definitely going to get one. And what would a flea market be without bins of tools? Of course, there were lots of tools at this flea market too. Another good tip when you're at flea markets is make sure you're always looking high and low and underneath stuff. I looked under the table here. I found the coolest chippy white frame that definitely was coming home with me. My daughter was all excited because they had Pokemon cards for sale, which is her thing. And I got really excited when I spotted some amber bottles because I had old vintage pharmacy labels I wanted to put on them, but these already had the labels, so the price was higher than I wanted to pay. I think one of the best things about the flea market is the dollar area. Anyone else? I love that they had smileys on their sign because that is exactly how I feel when I spot it. Finding the kissing Dutch boy and girl is also on my bucket list, but these were $100 for the pair, which is a good price if you're buying them for your home. There were antique dealers here and people with really good prices. And I also found this. Any idea what it is? Comment down below. Always lots to see. And I like to go through the flea market at least 3 times so I don't miss anything. Did you see it? The pig with wings, those always sell well for me. That was a little bit high priced for me though. I did pick up this beautiful picture. Anything that has a serene scene, a gold frame, and animals does well. Got excited when I spotted the Verner's crates. Out of my price range for a reseller, but they were a good deal. There were a lot of things that were Detroit made, and because I'm from the Detroit area, those things can get a higher price. You never know what you're going to find at a flea market, and this flea market did not disappoint. I did ask the price on the brass lion's head, and they pointed out that they had another piece that was similar. I decided to pass on them, but they were really cool and very heavy. I am not really into bottles a lot, but this little Listerine bottle did come home with me along with a few others. They were just good prices and unique things I hadn't seen before. The Armada Flea Market also has a nice area where you can get some food and there's restrooms. They also sell plants and flowers and a little bit of something for everyone. They even had a mermaid. No idea where I'd put her, but I really liked her. I also really liked, do you see the birdhouse in the bottom corner, that yellow one? All hand built. It was $35 firm. I probably could have doubled my money, if not a little bit more. I decided to pass on it, but still regret it a little bit. Would you have picked it up? And of course, there was lots of dishes and glassware. And some really beautiful displays. I think displays help you get the top dollar when you're at a flea market. I was finding a lot of things I don't normally find, like this copper piece, which did come home with me. I don't have much information on it, but I knew it was cool. There were also crafters there, lots of cool stuff that were handmade, and I really liked these shells that had decoupage paper inside. I was thinking maybe I could do something like that for my booth with the JRV papers that I sell. I also spotted a lot of galvanized items. wash tubs, buckets, and more. And that was good because I was out of them at my booth. And springtime is the perfect time for people to buy those and put them in their yards. Time to take the first load back to my van. My daughter is helping me with the cart here. We loaded everything safely and went back out to shop some more. I love green, and this table with the turned legs made me so happy. I was excited, and then I did the wobble test, and it was a hard pass. Once again, I'm haunted by children's stuff that's cool. I loved these doll beds, but I have decided I don't want to carry children's items in my booth no matter how cool they are. I do love to hunt for treasures, and this bin had a lot of cool stuff. Unfortunately, this yellow vase here had tons of little chips on it because it was in that container, but it's always fun to look. It was really starting to get a lot busier, as you will see from the pictures here. People were coming out, and Mother's Day weekend is definitely a big event here at the Armada Flea Market. I had just dropped off another load into my van, and it was time for one last loop around to see what I could find. Always on the hunt for vintage Christmas items. I did bring something home. Stay tuned to the end to see what I found. And in case you really couldn't tell, this place is huge and definitely worth a visit, although I recommend you go early. As it was really getting busy, it was time for us to go, and our shopping was over. On the way out, we picked up some fresh farm eggs. And remember those kitties we saw on the way in? They were free, and April's Nana totally caved. So we broke our rule. April's Nana brought home a brand new kitten. I really had a great time at the Armada Flea Market, and I will be back this year. Found so many good treasures. I loved these little jar lids. I got them for like $2 each, so I can upgrade my vintage jars. I couldn't pass up some plastic farm animals. Also got postcards. I'm trying to have more small items to help me make the rent, and these were a really good price. I can sell them for a couple bucks, but it's worth it to have tiny things to help you make the rent. And they had lots of pretty colors. I couldn't pass up this cookbook. I had never seen it before. Beautiful pictures. Do you see the skewers? How cool is that? Full picnic lineup. Always good for this time of year. My daughter really liked this little survival book. I thought it would be kind of fun too to have, so we picked that up. I am just in love with landscape prints, and they do well for me. This one's a little faded, but it was a good deal. Also found a kitty. Pets are always selling well, kitties or dogs. And then I picked these up. Now they say Detroit, Michigan. They are milk containers, and they were a good price. Now you're going to notice one thing is that I'm not going to tell you prices. I'll tell you a price for all of them at the end, just because I did a lot of bundle deals, and then when I got home there weren't price tags. I honestly forgot some prices on things. Unfortunately, the Eiffel Tower, the top got broken off in transit, but I didn't pay too much for it. And it also holds the pictures really, really well. I'm not a copper pot person, but I couldn't pass this up. This was $30. I talked him down a little, and I think it's a good deal for its size. Let me know down below if you think I did well. Love bird cages, and why not a little rust? Doesn't that just make it better? These sell all the time. Also got a matching set of roosters and white chippy frame. This was only $1. Old frames are great, and talk about great. This picture is just oh so pretty. And I'm kind of fascinated, I guess, by little bottles. Never seen a tiny Listerine. Bottles really aren't my thing. The oil can sold the minute I put it in. That green and rustiness was just gorgeous. These little containers and jars were used for milk and baby formula. Thought they were cool. Got some salt and pepper shakers just to add. Those always sell in my booth too. I have a whole bunch of them. The container itself, I just like primitive, like handmade stuffed for displays. Also got an eagle. And underneath the eagle, you're going to see what was an umbrella stand. The guy couldn't figure out what it was. He said, just take it. My wife keeps using it to hold our door open, and I'm sick of it. And since it was Mother's Day, I found this print. I sold one just like it not too long ago. I've also been upping my game with mirrors. I got away from them for a while. I was always afraid of breaking them, but I really like how you can put them anywhere and it makes your booth look bigger. Some more cool old glass. There were a lot of bottles. This was the Christmas item. They sang "Oh Silent Night," and they were only $5. I thought that was a good deal. And the doll head and the bookend, I think, were both $1. I'm also always on the hunt for salvage, and I found a really cool piece of salvage. Love all the details on it. I also found this. Love the colors. I also got a bunch of galvanized and cool stuff. As I mentioned, Detroit things sell well. Twin Pines, I haven't seen this for a price I could afford before, picked that up. Toolbox and galvanized galore. I got a big deal for all of these pieces. I think it was 50 or 40 for all seen here. I have the wash tub. This one's really heavy duty. I haven't seen many like this before. And part of the deal was that I had to also pick up the watering can and the oil can, so I did. But overall, everything here ran me just over $200. I think it was a great deal. Already added to my booth at Plaza Antiques and Collectibles Mall. Thank you guys for joining me for the flea market. It was the first flea market of the year, and that's always exciting. And as you can see, the picture behind me is already hung and in place. Hopefully it will also sell quick. Let me know what you liked, what were some of the treasures, and I'm sure there are things I missed. So you're always really good about commenting down below. I also, once again, apologize just a little bit for not keeping track of prices of each items, but you want to find the good stuff, right? That's more important. And luckily, I knew how much was in my wallet. So I think I spent just over $200. I think that was a really good haul. And now I am dying to go back to Armada Flea Market. If you've ever been there, comment down below. Or if you know of other good ones in the area, let me know. The flea market season is upon us. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now get out there to salvage, repurpose, and create.